Good evening, everyone. Bruce Stevens, that's a name that's pretty well known for those of us from an older generation in Western Manitoba, especially in the areas of hockey, baseball, and education. Hockey fans know him from his time spent with Brandon University Bobcats, as well as the Deloraine Royals, who were a perennial power in the Southwest League many years ago. Parents and educators know his reputation as a teacher in Deloraine and as a principal at Forest Elementary School. But the reason we're talking about him here tonight is because of his involvement in baseball as an outstanding player, coach, clinician, and builder. As you can see from the write-up in the program, he excelled at an early age in baseball, playing on a team from the little town of Cardale that won the Manitoba and Western Canadian Championship in 1968. In 1972, he had a pretty outstanding year. He played on a Western Manitoba team that qualified for the Canadian Junior Championships in Montreal. During that same year, he played with the Vince Garth Orioles, which were an expansion team in the Manitoba Senior League. And he was one of the leaders on the team that led the team to a provincial and an MSBL title. All he did as a catcher was to hit .371 and be named to the first All-Star team. That's pretty hard to do, to hit .371 as a rookie. I think it took me about 5 years in the league before I got to 300. After that season, he started teaching in Deloraine, and with some other key players, over a few seasons, developed a very strong team in the Southwest League. This team contended for league championships and provincial championships for many years. He was an all-star pretty much every year and won 5 league batting championships. To hear his brother-in-law tell it, the umpires were so biased toward Bruce that if he didn't swing at it, they wouldn't call it a strike. So what Greg did, who played against him, was just throw at him, hit him with the first pitch, and just save 4 or 5 pitches. So Bruce showed that he wasn't just a one-trick pony. He played different positions as players, younger players came in and started playing with Deloraine, moving from catcher to infield and outfield. If you talk to him, he wouldn't talk about himself very much or his skills, but he always sort of claimed he had a weak arm, but because of his quickness, release, and accuracy, he was very effective as a catcher. If you look at names of individuals who have been selected to the Hall over the years, the majority played in the MSBL or the Red and White League. We sometimes overlook the many outstanding players that played intermediate baseball. Bruce is one of those that excelled at the intermediate level, but as you can see from his stats, would have been a star at any level of baseball in Manitoba. Besides his playing time and his coaching with the Royals, he also got involved in coaching minor baseball, leading a team from Deloraine to a provincial Pee-wee title. I got involved with him doing some clinics as well. We used to do some players and coaches clinics many years ago, and he was an outstanding clinician because he had such a great way with young kids, made them feel very relaxed. They had a lot of fun when they were doing these clinics, and they learned a lot as the time went on. As a builder, he served on the executive of Baseball Manitoba and the Brandon Minor Baseball Association as well. And even after that was over, anytime there was a major tournament in Brandon, he'd help Alec Campbell take care of the grounds. I've known Bruce personally on a lot of levels. I played with him on the junior team in 1972. We did a lot of clinics together. I played hockey against him numerous times, and we almost always got our butts kicked by the Deloraine team. And I taught across from him in Forest for many years. I taught his 2 children. For all that he's accomplished in sports, perhaps even more important is the respect and admiration that he has from his teammates, people that played against him, and fans that watched him. I don't think you'll ever hear anybody say anything negative about Bruce. It is a great pleasure that I introduce the newest member of the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame, Bruce Stevens. Just so you know, I did not call him to coordinate our outfits tonight. This was just my outfit.
Yes, just as Mike said, I had to phone him to see what he was going to wear. So. Just before I get started, I should tell you I'm not as much of a speaker, a speech writer, but you're going to get my 5, 6, 7 minutes, so whether you like it or not, so bear with me. Another thing I can tell you that's working in my favor when it comes to deserving to be in the Hall of Fame or not, is that the older I get, the better player I was as a coach and anything. So I'm not sure how that works, but it's working for me that way. While Colin and I did lots of coaches clinics together, and the first question we would ask when we go to do a coaches clinic was whether or not any of the coaches had ever seen us play. And if they said no, we could tell a lot better stories on those days. It seemed like the further away we got from home, the better players we were. Unfortunately, I guess a lot of you out there did see me play, so I can't do much exaggerating tonight. Just want to congratulate all the other nominees, individuals and teams. Probably know Greg and Dean and Randy the best. Greg is kind of from my area, so from my era. So I played against him, just an all-around great player. Watched Dean play lots, and as Don said, he was just a fantastic hitter. Saw Randy play a bunch as well, just an all-around good player, and comes from such a great family, and most of them are here tonight, so that's awesome. I think I like Greg the best, though, because he might even be shorter than me. We'll check that out later. I think you might know about all three of those guys, is that that you might not know is they were all quite, they weren't very competitive, I'm sorry. All three would have been happy just to see every game end in a tie, pick up their participation medals, and go home. That's my joke. I just want to take the rest of my time to thank and acknowledge the people in my life who made baseball possible for me and so special for me. If I do at all belong in this Hall of Fame at all, it's because of the teams that I was lucky enough to get to play on, the players that played on those teams, and the people who looked after them. I should back up a bit here and thank the people responsible for putting my name forward to be here tonight. I know Ross Steichels had a lot to do with it. I'm sure Gladwin had a hand in it, and as did my good friend Bob Caldwell, who's been an important guy in my life. Spent a pile of time playing alongside him, both hockey and baseball, coaching together. Also did most of our coaches clinics with him throughout the years. And everyone, I say, should be lucky enough to have a friend like Bob. And he just keeps giving back. He does some wonderful work with Hockey Manitoba and Hockey Canada, just to help make hockey better for our young kids. And it's all in the grassroots, it's not about the elite players. I grew up in Cardell, as Mike said, small town, maybe 90 people when I was growing up. It's a long time ago. 50 miles northwest of Brandon. My family farmed. Any day that the sun was shining, I was either on a bale rack or on a ball diamond. And for both those opportunities, I thank my mom and dad. I got to play ball, and I learned how to work. Cardell was a ball and hockey town. A lot of that had to do with Graham Shaw, who was the driving force behind both, so he was an important guy in my life. In 1968, as Mike said, Graham and my dad looked after a midget team that ended up having a pretty good season. We beat some teams along the playoff trail that maybe we shouldn't have, and made it to the finals against a Winnipeg team. And it was St. James. We went to Winnipeg for the first game, probably the first time for lots of us to be in the big city even. Trip to Brandon was a big deal in 1968. Anyway, we go to Winnipeg, we lose the first game 7-3 or something like that. They have to come back to Cardell. Remember I said it's only 90 people in Cardell at that time to finish the series. They arrive in town, get out of their cars, kind of laughing and making fun of our town and our team. Didn't sit too well with us farm boys. 4 or 5 hours later, they headed back to the big city with 2 losses, and we headed to Calgary for the Western Canadas, where we again played all big city teams and found a way to win a championship. 2 of my good friends still today, Harvey Shaw and Don Ramsey, played with me on that team. Interestingly, Ed Shaw, 40 years later, 2008, put together another midget team out of Cardell and won another Western Canada title. Next up, I want to acknowledge Bob Waslin, who thought that a scrawny, long-haired kid, not scrawny anymore, but scrawny, long-haired kid from Cardale could be his catcher on a pretty darn good Binscarth Orioles team. First year I played there, we were pretty much a tournament team. This was in a time when the dollar was worth $1, and we won a tournament in Kindersley against some pretty good teams. There were some college teams there, and we actually got $4,500 for the win. And here's another one you may or may not believe. We went to another tournament in Steinen, Saskatchewan, and that wasn't quite such a good tournament. Our first game was against a pickup team. Turned out they weren't very good, and they never got us out. Finally, the pitcher just took the baseball, threw it out in the wheat field next to the diamond, and walked off. Following year, the Orioles went into the MSBL. Preseason prediction for our team was to go 4 wins and 16 losses. We did just the opposite, 16 wins and 4 losses. We won the pennant, the MSBL playoff, and beat the Winnipeg League winner also. Another thing that you may not believe, but my mom kept all the write-ups from the Cameo paper, so I've got proof of this. The day we played St. James in Cardale, 90 people, we had 1,200 people there to watch us play. And on a Sunday in Binscarth, at a double-header, I think it was against the Cloverleaf and Minot, there were 1,500 people in the stands. My, how things have changed, haven't they? That Oriole team had no imports, just a bunch of local great guys. Didn't hurt that a couple of those local guys were future Team Canada players, Sam Jameson and Garth Neville. Another side note to that team was that our first baseman was NHLer goalie Ron Lowe, who used his hockey trapper as his first base glove. That really seemed to bother some teams. I think it really put them off that this could even happen. Finally, I want to mention some time I spent playing with Deloraine Royals, a special group of guys. We won some championships at Western Canada in 1983. Some of those guys are here tonight, and I really appreciate them being bothered to come. They're all great players and are all great friends. Don Morrison's here. Gary Williams is here. He was really the heart and soul of our team. Lyle Franklin, good friend for many, many years. Dale McKinnon was supposed to go on his way to Germany, but he didn't get to go, so he's here. The thing about Dale I should mention is that he came to town in May, June to finish off his the year as a teacher in a term position, and we invited him to stay with us, and then as the ball season started, he took my position. I had to move from second base to outfield. A great fellow. And Bob Caldwell, who was the leader of that team. Also want to mention one other guy now. Now, a lot of you Hall of Famers are probably better players than I was, maybe better coaches as well. But did any of your teammates ever make you a Hall of Fame blanket with their own hands? Bob Williamson did that for me. Thanks so much, Willie. Bob played on that junior team with Mike and I that went to Montreal, which I should say had Al Robertson and Glenn Scott as coaches. Now, it doesn't get any better than that in the coaching department. And Willie's been a good friend ever since. I need to finish by mentioning my wife of 45 years. Vicki, over the years, was witness to a pile of hockey and baseball games and missed out on a lot of social events, lake time, and who knows what else. Vicki actually, with all the games that she witnessed, became quite an accomplished umpire referee. Very vocal from the stands. Shortly after we were married, it was at the end of March, I tried to plan it between hockey and baseball seasons. She asked me that if a fire would break out in our house, what would be the first thing that I would grab to save from the fire? She so wanted me to say my wedding ring or the wedding album, and without even having to think about it, I said my baseball glove. After all, it was a Wilson A2000. I actually slept quite well on the couch that night. If you don't mind a story laced with profanity, you can ask her about her honeymoon. Ended up in the honeymoon capital of the world, Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Just so happened that there was a Wheat King game there that night, and we were fortunate enough to get tickets for it and got to witness Ron Chipperfield get his 92nd goal of the year. That was a record at that time. So special. And more to that, to top it off, we had to get back to Deloraine for a hockey playoff game versus the Oakland Seals. And she's still with me. We have two great kids, Mitch and Aaron, both very good ball players. Some of my proudest and best moments were coaching and watching them play. Mitch was a shortstop, which I could never play, and Aaron was an excellent pitcher, which I only got to do when I was a coach. Again, if I do belong in this Hall of Fame, it's because of all these people that I've mentioned. When I started, I felt that maybe I needed to defend myself here. I coached a lot of teams throughout the years, as Mike said, hockey, baseball, fastball, pretty much all of the school sports. I did think of a time, though, when I was quite a good coach. My first summer in Delray, and I coached that 1200 team that Mike made mention of. On that team, I had Shane Moffat, who at 11 years old was already a phenomenal player. I also had Donald Dietrich, who was probably as good a ball player as he was a hockey player. I ended up playing in the NHL. Anyway, every game, I had to decide, should I pitch Shane or should I pitch Donald? And you know what? I never made a mistake all that year. Won the provincials, went to Vancouver for the Westerns. Well, that was some darn good coaching, I'd say. Anyways, thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm very proud and humbled to be included with some of these great people that I see out here, some of the great players that I see here as well. Really want to thank the committee for making this night happen, and really appreciate being here. Thank you very much.